Hey Aquarius. All right, Page of Swords. So, Page of Swords is somebody who's seeking the truth, but often, more often than not for me, the Page of Swords is somebody who is seeking the truth, but also seeking the truth about themselves. Where am I going? What am I doing? You know, what's good for me? What makes sense to me? The Page of Swords is you have the ability to write your own story at this point, okay? You can go anywhere, do anything, be anybody you want. What is that? And for a lot of you, I feel like you're um, tied down to this situation, okay? Because you think that you can only go so far, or you think, well, we're not talking, I don't have closure, I don't know if we're going to get back together. But the Page of Swords is somebody who's very logical, very perceptive, um, understands that you need to focus on what it is you want in order to get anything with anybody else. If you're not happy with yourself, or you're not happy with your situation in general, with or without this person, then you're not going to be happy with them or anybody else. So the Page of Swords is definitely like, hey, really focusing on what's going to be um magnetic in my life. What do I feel pulled towards, and what can I just kind of dispose of as far as um changing careers or people that don't suit you or do suit you, etc. All right, the first card you have is your current position coming into the month. You have the Six of Pentacles. Now, this is coming up a lot for a lot of different signs. The Six of Pentacles is generosity, and it can be a success of some sort. But here's the thing with the Six of Pentacles. It's also a charitable energy. So what I've noticed a lot of signs are having, and it's been in different positions for different signs, but the Six of Pentacles, the charitable aspect is what makes me nervous in these situations sometimes, because this is when I say, all right, Aquarius, are you doing what suits you because you want to? Or are you doing what suits somebody else because you feel bad, because you don't want to say no, or because you don't want to cut the cord completely, or because you don't want to actually end this, or have it end, or they end it. It's almost like you leave it non-closed, or there's no closure here, because the Six of Pentacles is you being generous, or they're being generous, or both of you. It's like nobody wants to be the first one to say, are we officially done, or are we not officially done? And so the Six of Pentacles says you're gonna have a lot of success in a lot of different things, but your current position coming in here tells me that you're still not done with the situation, which is fine if there's a good connection here and if it can be healthy at some point. You get my drift. But you need to make sure that, like, they're telling me, like, please, Aquarius, make sure that this is healthy when the communication comes, that it's not just a I feel bad or they feel bad. It's actually a I want to be successful with this person, not because I feel guilty or because I can't say no. The next card you have is how you're feeling coming into the year. And all right, so there's obviously a situation that's been on your mind. The Three of Pentacles is about teamwork. It's about working together as partners. However, a lot of people see this also as a third party card, okay? So for some of you, you're kind of like, it really doesn't matter what I want, because there was a third party situation, and I can't necessarily see past that right now. I can't necessarily see that, see us going anywhere. And for some of you, maybe somebody out there could resonate with one or two people. Somebody out there is dealing with somebody who's married, and maybe they've said, oh, I'm going to leave this person, they haven't, or whatever, which, I mean, generally that's not a good situation to be in the first place. But the thing about the Three of Pentacles is it's a group, so there's more than one person involved here. Now, it could also be kids, like you have kids or they have kids, or you guys had kids together, and so what's on your mind is, how do we grow and partner together to take care of the things we need to for babies or whatever, without getting back together if we can't make that happen. So again, it's people working together, but a lot of times it is worried about another person, or not being able to trust somebody because maybe there was a third party situation. The next card you have is your distant past, so the past 5-10 years, could be throughout your childhood. And you have the Two of Cups, okay? The Two of Cups is a twin flame card. It's karmic connection. It's soulmate connection. No need to correct me. In the bottom, a lot of people are like, well, it only means it is what it is. The Two of Cups is a beautiful love card. The thing here, though, is it's in the distant past. So this is a soulmate connection or a twin flame connection, whatever you consider this card to resonate with. This is a connection that's extremely strong. That's why you're having a hard time letting it go. That's why you're not sure you could let it go. You want to write a new story, maybe with this person. There's a connection here, but there's been some damage that's been done. That Two of Cups is definitely saying, it's weird, like, you know, getting in touch with you and moving on. But for some reason, the universe is reminding us that there's a twin flame connection here, even if it's distant past. Maybe interesting, maybe you're seeing somebody now and you have somebody else coming in. Aquarius, there's a possibility that you have more than one major connection. Maybe you're seeing somebody now, but your heart belongs to somebody else. And the next card you have is your immediate past over the past few weeks, past month or two, and you have the Ten of Swords. Now, the Ten of Swords is tragedy, it's loss, it's endings. Now, yes, it can be a loss if, you know, there is, I'm not comfortable getting into that because people get annoyed and it gives me the chills. But that, I mean, there can be a possibility of some sort of loss in family or whatnot, and for that, I apologize. I don't want to delve too much into that. But the Ten of Swords is about an ending. Okay, it's an ending, period. So even though you have this connection, you know it's still there. I think that this is you guys saying, okay, well, I've officially had this ending. Like, this is, it's very strange because I feel like you cut them off and you're like, nope, maybe you ghosted them. Maybe you said, no, I'm not, I want nothing to do with you. Maybe this third party situation was too hard to deal with. Even if it wasn't third party, it was this person was narcissistic or had needed attention or whatnot and just wasn't reciprocating in the relationship. Here, though, you're coming in with your current position as you might be willing to overlook it. Like, you might be willing to give them another chance. But the past few weeks, past month or two, I feel like it's been really rough, Aquarius. Feel like it chokes me up. It makes me feel like just like no matter where you look, you see them, you feel them, you hear them, or the holidays are throwing you off. There's something here that's making you feel this in depth. And it may just be that, you know, you finally put your foot down. Maybe you've never actually said, enough is enough, I'm done. And then you finally did, even though you know this connection is still alive and thriving. Without communication, you can still have that connection. People are like, well, we're not talking, and it doesn't matter. You think about them. You see a color they like. You see their car around. You see different things. We've all been through it, where there's reminders, subtle or not subtle, that bring this connection back and kind of like throw it in your face. The next card you have is your distant future over the next few months, and you have the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is work, okay? So this definitely says that you guys are focused on other things, which is very interesting because this seems to be a very common theme with a lot of signs. And I feel like it's because, you know, maybe resolutions, non-resolutions, because the Eight of Pentacles is, again, like a hard work. Like, you're putting in a lot of hard work. You're studying, you're learning, you're implementing, you're achieving. But again, I never feel a sense of romance or love in this card or relationship in this card. Now, it can sometimes be like, well, you're working on something with somebody, or you're putting work into, you know, maybe we could be better partners, or maybe we could get back together. But in reality, the Eight of Pentacles is all about hardworking, setting goals, moving towards the goals, achieving things. And I think this is just kind of your mindset right now. Whether or not you get back together is not your biggest, like, you're battling yourself. You're internally, you have an internal battle of, do I take them back or do I not take them back? And that's the hardest thing, Aquarius, because you've had the swords. You've been shut down. You've been, and I don't even think that it's you that's been shut down. I think you've been doing the shutdown. Now, cross watchers, you can reverse this, but I read this for the sign that I'm reading it for. So I feel like you've put this in motion, and it was one of the hardest things you could have done because of this connection. This Ten of Swords was an extremely hard energy for you to possess and put your foot down and say, hey, screw yourself. Like, I'm done. Don't get mad if I say that. Somebody got irritated with me last month for saying, I don't appreciate you saying screw yourself to a subscriber. And I just thought, well, A, these are general, and B, if you cheat on me or you treat me like crap, I'm probably going to say, hey, go screw yourself. Just saying. So anyways, again, Eight of Pentacles tells me you're not making time for this. Would you be willing to? Possibly. But would this be on the back of your mind? Absolutely. The next card you have is your immediate future. So throughout the month, you have the Knight of Swords, which tells me a lot. There's still, it's not funny, but like there's still this big, I feel like your person is, or the situation is like, they're like, well, why are you tired of me? Well, why don't you want me back? Well, I mean, we've got this connection. What's going on? I can't believe you don't want. And you're going, because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and let's continue to repeat the alphabet. Like, the Knight of Swords is somebody who's very hostile, confrontational. And I feel like, Aquarius, you're like, I have a lot to say here. Like, a lot. And you're seeing my, air sign come out here, and I don't like to be this person. And Aquarius, frankly, you guys are generally not this person. So somebody's pushed you to the edge. And pushed you to the edge, unfortunately, to the point of you wanted to be the Page of Swords. You wanted to be like, hey, we could write this story. We could possibly make this happen. I would consider talking about it. And then, like, something fucked up, and again, and they're telling me again. So they're telling me this isn't like, this isn't the first time, or this isn't the first go round, or this isn't, and they just said, like, how could they be that blatantly unaware that they continue to do things? It's like, it's almost like they're not maliciously doing things. They just do things that are really, like, they keep a secret that isn't even worth keeping a secret, because it's not like a cheating secret, or it's not a lying secret. It's more like they didn't tell you they were gonna stop by here where maybe somebody, an old gal pal or somebody. Does that make sense? Like, it feels like it's almost like nonsense. And you're Aquarius, you're done. You're sick of it. You're tired of it. You're like, nope, not today. All right, the next card you have is the Page of Wands. This is anything tangible that's going to happen throughout the month. Could be the beginning, middle, end. And Page of Wands for me is always communication, because the Page of Wands represents a spark, communication, confidence, curiosity. So this is somebody who is going to contact you. I do feel like they're going to contact you. You might contact them, but I feel like they're going to contact you. And that's why you're feeling this, well, I might be willing to take them back, but man, you still have some, like, you got burnt big time, and you're just not sure which way you want to go with it. And some of you are probably like, oh, Dark Shadow, I'd be surprised if they even contact me. But haven't you been feeling that heaviness? Because I just feel this heaviness with you guys, like, where you're like, you're thinking about them all of a sudden, like, maybe you started really getting over it. You really started like, I'm done, like, nope, never. And now you're starting to think about it, which tells you, like, they're going to pop up again. Next card you have is how you're feeling throughout the month. And you have Death, which is Scorpio's card. So you could be dealing with Scorpio, have Scorpio placements. Death is not a bad card. Death is actually a good card. It's not a physical death. This is a more weary card than the Death card. The Death card is change, rebirth, transformation, big things coming. And this is where you're kind of at. Now, for some of you, there may be children involved, like I said before, and there may actually be like a pregnancy for some of you, or that was the plan to have kids. So for some of you, this is kind of like, it's weird. They're telling you, like, I don't care who it's with, but I want to get a move on. Like, I have plans. I want to make things happen. Like, you may be like twin flame, but twin flames don't always get together. Sometimes it takes lifetimes for them to get together. Sometimes twin flames are twin flames, but they don't actually stay together, or sometimes you don't even meet this twin flame for years and years and years. So my whole point with this is you're just ready for a change, whether it's a rebirth with this person, or whether it's a complete change, transformation, moving on with somebody else. Like, you're set in your goals. You know where you want to go. The Page of Swords, you've developed kind of a, this is what I'm looking to go forward with in life, and with or without you. Like, that's where I'm at. The next card you have is your hopes or fears for the outcome, and you have the Eight of Cups. So your fear is that everything's moving slow. How am I going to know if this person's the right person for me if they come back? How am I going to know if there's somebody better out there for me? You don't. It's a risk that you have to take. But the Eight of Cups is saying you're not satisfied in the current situation. You're not satisfied in the old situation. Not that you're not satisfied in the current situation, because a lot of you are progressing in work. You're having a good time with family or friends, or you've had the holidays, or in some countries, it's the summer and whatever. But the Eight of Cups regarding love, you're kind of like, it's not moving forward. Whether I get back together with this person or whether I meet somebody new, you just kind of feel like it's not moving, period. Like, the water's just stagnant. The next card you have is your outcome for the month. And you have the Four of Wands. Well, okay, see, this is where there's kind of a flip going on. Because you've got this twin flame showing up, right? But then you've got this terrible Ten of Swords, which is like loss, endings, feeling tragic. This, angry moment. Maybe you guys fight it out until you figure it out. Because the Four of Wands is happiness. It's resting. It's a first completion. It's making the move to do whatever it was you intended to do before. Whether it was move in together, whether it was have kids, get married, adopt fur babies, whatever it was for you, the Four of Wands is saying, okay, you're moving in that direction. So what happens here? They spark communication and they finally prove to you that they've changed and that they can be here. Maybe the Sage of Pentacles bit me in the butt when I said that, you know, it doesn't really show love, because ironically, you know, maybe, or not love, but like working at a romantic relationship, but ironically, maybe it does. Now you have the Four of Wands twice, which is, you know, hey, can we make this work? Hey, can we make this happen? So I find that very interesting. I feel like all of a sudden this is going to take a big turn. Some of you are probably like, what? We're talking about a third party and this big ending. Yeah, but something's changing here. And maybe you haven't talked to this person in a long time. Maybe they were seeing somebody. Maybe you were seeing somebody and all that's ended. It's almost like a new spark or a new communication is coming in that like revives this twin flame energy. Because again, you have the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands like is one of my favorite cards in the deck, because you literally, you can't deny, you know, you can't deny the spark here. You can't deny the twin flame connection. And I don't get the feeling it's somebody new, because I just don't think between now and then you've had that time. Now you may be like, well, it's been like a year, it's been 8 months or whatever. But still, it's not like a new development all of a sudden came in. But see, yes, interesting. You have the Four of Wands twice, okay? What's 4 plus 4 is 8, and then you have the Eight of Cups twice. Here's the problem. It's like things are being said, things are being mentioned. Yes, we're going to get back together. Yes, we're going to move in together. Yes, we're going to have kids together. Yes, we're going to make this work. But it's moving slow, like moving really slow. I think that's the biggest problem. Some of you are kind of like, you say this, but it's not happening, but you're not necessarily giving up. Maybe you're just surprised that they freaking contacted you in the first place. Because again, you have the Eight of Cups, which is slow moving. It's dissatisfaction in stagnation. Okay? Doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean you'll move into this immediately. It may take some time. Now, your clarifying card here is Judgment. It's meditation. It's looking back. It is judging the situation, but it's not judging the situation in like you know, we can never make things happen. It's more of a looking back and saying, well, where did things go wrong? What can I do to improve the situation? What can they do to improve the situation? What can we both contribute to this situation? Now, you have the Ace of Wands here, which is coming out as also a clarifying card for your distant future, which is creativity, passion. But it's a new passion. So can you guys reignite the passion? That's the biggest question here. Something about these Four of Wands, though, is telling me, like, it will come, but it will come with time. Because you have the Eight of Cups saying it's slow moving. Maybe that's what you guys need to do. Maybe before you've always rushed into it. Maybe before you've always said, okay, we're getting back together and everything's going to be... Maybe this time you're starting as friends, or you're starting with the momentum of, we can get there, but there's been some hurt along the way. And so we need to understand that. Because then you have the Seven of Wands clarifying here. And the Seven of Wands is about strategy. It's about priorities. It's about defense, okay? It's about not feeling 100% clear or sure on what you want to do. It's protecting yourself, basically. So Aquarius, the Seven of Wands is saying, look, there's going to be some tension here. There may be some, you know, upset, and there may be, but there's passion still here. So you may not want to jump in, and maybe you're the one moving slow. Now I'm starting to think, Aquarius, you're the one saying, whoa, 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 slow down. Like all of a sudden they contact you and they're like, but this is over, and I never meant for this. And you're like, well, I might give him another chance, but you broke my heart and screwed things over. And so you're going to be like, okay, I'll talk to you, and I do still want these things with you, but we're going to move a little slow. Like, slow and steady wins the race, right? Then you have the Emperor here. And the Emperor is Aries card. So you could be dealing with Aries or have Aries placement. But this is traditional. This is authoritative. This is somebody who's like, hey, I'm here like to show you and prove to you. You know, Aquarius, some of you may be like, hey, Dark Dove, you're completely insane. This person could never hack it. But you'd be surprised. Somebody may show up and to the plate and show you what they have. And show you what they have to give. because they're showing up in a valiant in a whole different light. Okay, now your oracle card, these are meant to be read in reverse or non-reverse. I don't read reversals, but in these cards I do. And you have the crown, okay, which the crown is complacence. And I think here's the biggest issue is you need to decide whether you want to move forward with this or whether you're fine where you are. And for most of you, I don't think that you're fine where you are. I think you're fine where you are where work's concerned or kids are concerned or life in general. You don't need this person. You would prefer to want this person. You would prefer to have something where you didn't feel stuck on wanting this person. Like you'd either like to get over it and be done or want the person but know that it's it has to move in a different direction. It has to move. They have to show up as the emperor instead of whatever they've been showing up as before. All right, you have Evie and Snuggles. Remember to wear your self-confidence, rock it, and own it. So remember to wear your self-confidence, rock it, and own it. Aquarius, I think that's huge for you. This is all about, I mean, right now it feels like the decision is yours. Take it or leave it. You'll move on just fine. But you do know that there's a very strong connection here. Okay, Aquarius, I'll see you soon. Bye.